You are listening to the PHP Ugly podcast. And despite what the title may lead you to believe, this is a podcast about the joys and challenges of being a professional PHP developer. Your hosts are three passionate developers who make a living coding and who live stream every week to discuss coding, projects, work, tech, and running a business. And now, here are your hosts, Eric Van Johnson, John Congdon, and Tom Rideout.
You're listening to episode 247 of PHP Ugly. And tonight is the night, the last day for Major League Baseball trades. That's right, you've tuned in to the perfect podcast. Probably not listen to any of that. None of these guys who are interested or care about any of these things. And I unfortunately might need to become a Dodgers fan, and I'm not happy about it. I'm your host, Eric Van Johnson, and with me is John Congdon.
I might mildly be interested in why you have to become a Dodgers fan, but we'll save that for later.
And Tom Rideout.
I'm very interested in why you would have to become a Dodgers fan.
I'm assuming it's because of a trade of one of his favorite players.
Two of my favorite players from the Washington Nationals are going, well, it's not official yet, but it's pretty damn close that they're going to the Dodgers. And the only Chicago Cub that I liked, who was a former Padre, might I add, was drafted by the Padres. He became a Chicago Cub. Rizzo is now a New York Yankee, and I despise the Yankees. Despise those cheaters. But that's for another day. Another day. Max?
I'm letting you know, you're going to hurt my dad's feelings, who watches our show. Big Yankees fan. I'm sorry, Dad. I'll kick him off the show later.
Dad Congdon, listen, I love all baseball. So just on the tiers of teams I like the most, the Yankees are pretty low down there. And more the Yankee fans. I know that's what you are, but little man reached over the fence, took that home run, stole the World Series from the Baltimore Orioles. I hold on to grudges. We've established that.
That was their own fan, wasn't it?
No, it was a Yankee fan.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. I don't let those things go. But yeah, the two-colored-eyed pitcher Max, I always forget his last name, from the Nationals, and Trey Turner from the Nationals, who again I believe was a former Padre, look like they're going to the Dodgers. That's the big trade that's happening, or that they're trying to complete before midnight. So
all right, so that we don't all fall asleep, we should probably move on from baseball. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, because Cody is so much more interesting. Let's talk about that. How's everybody's week?
I want to know about
you remember coding, don't you, Tom? You used to
vaguely.
have to click on the keyboard and things would happen. You remember doing that, or do you just do meetings now? Are you just a PM now?
I do a lot of meetings.
PM.
I spent a good portion of my week trying to figure out why QA couldn't get my code deployed to it. There was a bit of a pipeline communication issue. So yeah, lots of meetings, lots of working with people and getting them squared away, and trying to work on my own tickets and getting pulled one direction or another away from it.
Gotta love management.
It's, I'm not exactly doing management, but some days I am. Some days it seems like it's just management stuff. But
we got one of our
what I'm doing.
We got one of our operations guy. Well, I don't want to call him operations guy because we don't really have operations people, but our guy who is really kind of first tier support on all of our servers, like knows all the workflows and everything, was on vacation this week, and he came back today. And man, am I happy to have him back. Of course, so many things went wrong while he was gone, and the other developers who were there stepped up and pushed through everything and got everything going, and credit to them. But it's definitely much more stressful when the number one guy isn't there. It was funny. It's like I've been pushing these. I call them playbooks. I'm sure you've heard the term before. I've been pushing the team to create playbooks. And like every time something went wrong this week, I'm like, is there a playbook for that? Why isn't there a playbook? When you fix this, create a playbook for that right now.
And did they? That's the more important question.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, they did. It was, of course, and they've been doing it. I mean, like, we have a ton of playbooks out there now, but of course, the two big things that go wrong this week, there aren't playbooks for, of course, because that's the way everything always works out. But there are playbooks for it now, so.
Yeah, playbooks are hard to create if you don't know what's going to happen. Like,
Right.
and I don't know what happened in this case. I don't know how I missed that, but sometimes things just happen and they're like, oh yeah, I guess we need something for that now.
Yeah. And that's it. It's like you just never know what's going to go wrong. It's just life.
Yeah.
How about you, John? How was your week?
My week has been ups and
Obviously,
downs.
you weren't
Ups and
worried
downs.
about our clients being down, but apparently that didn't even cross your radar.
There is so much chatter I need to be added. Mention me. I'll come join.
Nah, we had it. We had it under control.
Yeah. Good. Until we go to record an interview podcast this week, and I make a mistake. I make a mistake and change something in production. And like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Maybe.
Yeah. So the environment is split up very well, where all of the jobs or all the workers are on separate servers from the web environment, and I needed to change something. Something kept breaking. I couldn't figure out why. So I'm like, I think I've got it. I'm going to hot fix this, throw it up on the worker servers. It's only going to affect the jobs. No big deal. Until you realize, no, there is some pieces of the web traffic that are sent to these servers to offload the web servers themselves. And then all of a sudden it's like bug snag just starts flying off the shelf.
I always have that, like when I do a deployment and then I look and I see I have like 3 or 4 emails. I'm like, oh, God damn it, something went wrong. Like, God, you just know right away something went wrong.
Yeah. So luckily I was able to revert it really quickly, but that is stressful. And then, of course, I'm like, now I see what I did wrong, patched it up, fixed it. But I had something very, very interesting happen in some new code. In worker code, it was working fine as I developed it, worked fine in all of my testing, worked fine when other people tested it, put it out in the real world, it breaks. Could not figure it out for the life of me until I tracked it down. There was deep in code that had nothing to do with what I was necessarily working on, was relying on session information out of the session. Mm-hmm. So basically, when the worker started up, it was starting a session, and now that's what all the jobs after that until the worker restarted used. And it just completely wrecked the data. And I was like, I cannot believe this hasn't bitten us before this point. So
it wasn't anything you had done? It was just something you discovered?
It was something I discovered because none of the other workers up until this point relied on this piece of code that used the session. So, or we don't know of anything else that has been affected by it. So
that's probably more the case. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's like when you have so many pieces in the system, it's like something is relying on this and you just don't think about, 10 levels deep, there's something with a session being used. And once I finally dug into it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is why. It was easy to fix. Actually just created a whole new array session driver so that every time a new job started, it was easy to clear out. It wasn't relying on Redis or any other session storage. So it was fun to fix, but a pain in the ass. It took me it took hours to figure out what was happening, but over multiple days. So when we first released it was like, this is weird. Why is it not working? You go and create just a single job. And it's like, that worked. That makes no sense. Why? And so even at that point, nothing really came about. I didn't understand why it was not working until just yesterday. Is that when we recorded? Whenever it was, we recorded that podcast.
I think it's even worse than that because I'm pretty sure we recorded that like on Thursday or Friday of last week.
No, that we did.
So
not.
it was like the end of the week that you did that.
No, we recorded earlier this week. We've done
was
2
it this week.
Yeah, the interview was this
okay.
week. Yeah,
Man, there was
just the other day.
I've just been like podcasting crazy. I got first PHP Roundtable return tomorrow. I'm not live streaming it yet because I'm a puss, but we are recording that tomorrow.
Really?
Looking forward to
I
that.
didn't.
Yeah.
I never saw an invite.
Yeah, I didn't get mine. That's really weird.
Did you not get your invite?
Oh, I'll check my spam.
Good,
folder.
my email's working correctly.
It's not randomly inviting people.
I got a panel. This first one is Sammy's comeback. He got to pick. He got to pick the panel.
So you didn't pick me.
I'm actually surprised he picked me, to be quite honest with you. Pretty sure he was surprised, but no. Yeah, I put that panel together and had it.
Are you at liberty to say who's going to be on it or no?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
or what the topic is about.
Well, so that's one of the.
Okay, let's be fair. They have thousands and thousands of listeners. We have 100, so I think it's okay to say.
So, I don't know, man. I mean, I kind of want to hold on to it, but I guess
then hold on to it. Just stick to your guns. Hold on to it. It's fine.
Who is it?
If you're listening, go to youtube.com/PHP Roundtable. Subscribe in your podcast.
I tell you this. I will tell you this right now. Both people are in our PHP Ugly Discord. If either one of you want to announce that you're on the podcast, go and do it in the Discord. And if you're curious and you're listening live, you want to be at discord.phpugly.com. And if either one of them are listening and wish to make their presence known, they can do so.
And look at that. Nothing happens. Surprise, surprise.
Kevin's like, yeah, I'll be on.
Yeah. No, it's me.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold off because I don't want to jinx it right now. Like, I'm not streaming live because I haven't worked out the whole workflow. So if something goes really sideways on this one, I can just scratch it and scrap it and do it another one. I did spend the day today though. However, I had a conversation with Sammy this week. I'm like, hey Sammy, you have like, I think there were like 80 shows on the website and only like 76 on the audio stream. And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, I think I forgot to encode a few of them. I'm like, okay. So I spent the last, so there's 81 shows on the website and none of them had been encoded since show 77. So I actually spent today, encoding them, cleaning them up a little bit, and putting them out on the new stream. So they are out there. I'm not sure how that works because I moved the podcast. So I'm doing this hybrid thing. I really love the PHP Roundtable website. Matter of fact, I'm getting pretty envious with it because I'm thinking, wow, this is so much nicer than just the out-of-the-box Simplecast website that we use for PHP Ugly, because he has a lot of content to each show. So I'm going to keep that going, but I moved the management.
I was going to say, be careful. Like, I understand. I would love for you to keep that up. I would love for that for PHP Ugly as well, but that is so much more work, and I don't want you to burn out. I want you to enjoy it and keep it going.
Well, what aspect do you think is more work?
That whole, like, adding more content for each show, the show notes. I mean, our show notes are the links we put into Trello. We post them, and you basically just copy and paste them into the show notes for an episode, right? Where I think some podcasts spend hours or days to really like write up almost a full blog post just around that one episode and really try to get that content out there.
Right. And this is actually where my fellow listeners can help out. So the reason I want to keep it, I'm doing a little bit of hybrid. So the hosting of the podcast is still on Simplecast. And actually you can go to podcast.phproundtable.com and see the episodes there. I mean, it's the same sort of out of the box as our PHP Ugly one. the thing I really like about what Sammy is doing with the website, I hear what you're saying. And actually what he does for show notes is he has a open source or an open repo so that listeners can actually write up the show notes themselves, and it'll post to the website. What I like about it is he does all of his show prep. So as he's organizing the panel, the topics, the discussion points, the subjects, and all that, he's putting all that in this interface, this admin interface he has. So when it does become time to announce the show, everything's kind of already there, and he typically announces ahead of time to record, because he does a live stream, which I'm hoping to kind of get back to, but I'm not holding myself to that. But I like all the prep work that's in there, so that's kind of what I'm focused on. Ideally, what I want to be able to do is when it is time to publish it, I would like to make the interface again through the website and then tie into Simplecast API, so that Simplecast will just grab the description that I already have in there, the guests that I already have in there, and all that, so that it's not an extra step for me. But right now it is.
Sounds fascinating.
So yeah, I actually didn't release all the shows. I think the first one releases tonight at midnight, and then every day another one releases, because I didn't want to bombard. I'm not sure how podcatchers are going to handle it, so I didn't want to bombard everybody with 5 new PHP roundtables from 5 years ago in their stream. So I just kind of releasing them one at a time. But I did have so that's happening tomorrow. Real excited about that, and if all goes well, I'll let you guys know who it is afterwards. Oh, you asked about the topics, and that was one of the funniest things. I'm like, Sammy, what do you want to talk about on Friday? Because there's I don't know of any cohesiveness between the guests, and Sam was like, I don't know, what do you want to talk about? I'm like, dude, you're a guest, man, I don't know.
And he's like, but it's now your show, so you figure it out.
Wait till you see this guy. Holy smokes. It's going to blow you away. The first time I saw him, I'm like, damn, I'm envious, man.
Oh, yeah?
He's got the full lumberjack beard. I mean, nice and clean and, all filled in. Not the scruffy stuff that we do.
Not mine.
No, or mine or John's. It's he looks like he's supposed to have a beard. He wears it well. And,
really?
But I mean, it's so energetic to talk to Sammy. I mean, he's just such a good
love
person.
that guy. Yeah.
But I have a question for you two. Probably more John, and then if you can help out Tom, that would be great. I was trying to use PHP Storm this week, and specifically because I'm working on this one project that has a lot of Livewire. Told you guys in the past that I've reached for PHP Storm when I'm doing Livewire stuff, and I've just been getting I get all these weird problems with PHP Storm now that I'm trying to use it more frequently, that are just driving me nuts. And maybe you guys can talk me through this, because I'm losing my patience on all of it. So the one thing I have, I realize this is more a me issue than probably your everyday user, and this might even be more of a Linux PHP Storm issue, which is why I'm asking you, John, to see if you know. But I'm my terminal is, a first-class citizen on my machine. I usually start in the terminal, then if I have to break out, I'll break out. Mm-hmm. So I've been trying to, I was trying to launch my PHP Storm through the terminal, which it does, but I have to keep the window open, and the process continues to run in that terminal window. So I basically lose that terminal window, and I can do my PHP Storm stuff. So I had the bright idea today. I'm like, well, why don't I just throw it in the background? You can Control Z if it's already running, or you can just put the little ampersand at the end.
Well, Control Z is different. Control Z pauses.
Well, then you background it.
Yeah.
So Control Z, BG, same thing as ampersand. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, it seems like both ways, when you background it, Tom is right.
You still get the output.
No, it pauses. For me, it paused the interface. My PHP Storm wouldn't do anything. Okay, it was frozen.
Even when you backgrounded it?
Mm-hmm.
Or when you Control Z? Control Z, what Tom said, Control Z pauses, BG afterwards, then backgrounds it. So Control Z BG is the same thing as an ampersand, but still, why launch it from a terminal instead of command/storm go?
Well, I'll go one further than that for you, is that you should be running the toolbox.
Okay, so both very reasonable questions. To answer your question first, John, again, we've talked about it in the past. I don't have the benefit that you have of basically being in one project all day, every day. I'm bouncing around between projects. So again, I'm in the terminal. I CD to that project's directory. A lot of times, if it's something, I mean, honestly, a lot of times I'm just in Vim, okay? But I'll CD to that directory. I might start in Vim and then say, okay, this is taking more time, or this is, I need to do some live wire stuff, so let me fire it up. So I'll just fire it up from the terminal. That's that way. Using your method, and Tom, your method, the little JetBrains thing, it's just again me reaching for the mouse and clicking around. I mean, it's not that I can't do it. I just don't understand why the terminal way doesn't work when it's there. It's just driving me crazy.
I think you're just doing something wrong.
Andy just pointed out there's a tools create command line launcher, but now that is a toolbox
Andy,
app thing.
I have that. I have the command line launcher. That's the thing. I can launch it. It just occupies that terminal window for me. When I launch it, it occupies that terminal window, so I can't close that window. Not that it's a huge deal. I'm just wondering why that is. It just doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, I don't know. Like I said,
I'm wondering if that's the same command line launcher.
Well, you can create a script that backgrounds it automatically. So like when you launch it, you just have a little bash script that uses a -n to execute it.
I'm trying to background it right now. I'm going to launch it again right now. And
but backgrounding it is still going to keep the output in that same window that you have.
Yeah, you're right, John.
Right, but you can detach it from that window with NoHup. So if you have a script that runs NoHup and then PHP Storm and then backgrounds it, then that
just put NoHup in front of your command there.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, let me try that. That's the other thing. Like if you command C it like the whole thing just crashes. Oh, wait a minute. No, it didn't. Hold up. This see, that drives me crazy, Storm. Why do I have to click inside? Actually, I just Control C'd it.
That would kill it.
And I still have my project going.
There's no way. You Control C after launching.
You've done something else.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
No.
Now it's working. I'm pretty sure I tried this, but
that doesn't make sense. Darling Data has a good point. Use tmux and just back out of it.
That's exactly what I do. I Control A on mine, but yes, Control A and create a new pane. You're absolutely right. That's what I've been doing. I just
within PHP Storm, I've almost always have already opened a project. So I'm just a file, open recent project, pick the one I need, open in a new window.
Yeah, I don't have PHP Storm running all the time, so maybe that's part of the problem.
I see what you're saying. So it's normally closed, you jump in a new project, open it via command line.
Right, that's correct. Yep. So yeah, I don't know, Vim world problems, I guess. No, I was just wondering if I was missing something, and thanks for letting me talk through that. I appreciate the questions. Good questions from everybody. Yeah. Everybody involved. I got another question for you guys.
Go for it. I would love another question.
How long, and if you're listening on Discord, discord.phpugly.com, feel free to contribute to this as well. In general, how long do you keep emails? Because I know personally I'm a digital hoarder, and I do not clean up anything. I'll archive stuff. Like I'm a zero inbox guy, but I don't delete stuff. And I noticed today that my Google account, I have like 30 gigs of space on my Google account, and I've used up 25 gigs. I'm like, that's a lot of emails,
Yeah, that is a lot of emails.
So I've been trying to come up with a way of nuking things, and I'm fine with it. I hate emails. I've actually become very anti-email in my old age, so I don't count them as like communication anymore. So now I'm definitely a lot better. I feel a lot more relaxed deleting them, but in general, Do you guys have a rule of thumb on how long you keep emails for?
I'm the same way. Archive and move on.
Mm.
I mean, there are times where I'm going through marketing crap, and it's like I mark a bunch of stuff and just delete. But for the most part, I archive and forget.
I don't archive things. I think that's weird. But I just mark it as read and continue. I have a few filters.
Isn't that the same thing?
No.
Wait, you mark it as read and leave it in your inbox?
Yeah.
So your inbox is just full with emails?
Yeah, it's full of garbage.
Oh, that's annoying.
Well, my wife has 2,000 unread emails. That's annoying.
Well, there's a difference between the normal, like, I don't use email for work type people, and that's okay. My wife is the same way. Mm-hmm. But when you deal with emails on a daily basis, kind of have to make sure you go through them and get rid of them.
Crap. They're unread. If I haven't gone through them, they're unread.
Note to self: don't hire Tom. Okay, got it.
Unnecessary, but I mean, email's stupid and I hate it.
Agreed.
I'm amazed that email hasn't evolved in any significant way in 20 years. Like, it's fascinating to me that I get all these Jira emails and I can't connect my email client to my Jira account and just have them like flushed out when the ticket's marked as done. Like, just clean it out and archive it.
I agree with that. Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
You know, yep. Or like there's no button where like everything that can be unsubscribed to just shows up on this button and I unsubscribe by, one at a time. Like I get a list of things I'm subscribed to.
There are services for that.
Gmail is that does a decent job of giving you Gmail gives you that unsubscribe on quite a few emails.
When you're on, when you're on the email. Mm-hmm. But like I just want a list of all my current subscriptions. Like,
but who has that? There's no way that has that.
Right? Why not? Why not have my?
That's a great idea.
When I sign up to a mailing list, shouldn't they have to do some sort of confirmation with my mail server or my mail host that says I'm going to send him emails that he asked for, so put me on this list? I mean, this functionality exists, and the fact that Gmail is like 90% of all email addresses in the United States, they have the power to just say like, yeah, if you want to send this person junk, then you have to use our API for it now. Fuck off. Like, they could do that. They just don't. And the fact that there's no, like, communication, I can't say, hey, this is a receipt email, archive it after 2 days in the receipts folder. Everyone's got their own receipt format. Is it a Best Buy receipt or is it an Amazon receipt? Like, you should be able to categorize this shit.
Tom, you really should check out Sane, SANE, Sane Mail. I
is this paid service?
Yeah.
No,
I started paying.
Fuck it. Why would I want a paid service? This is a function.
Anybody else interested? If
is it Sane Box?
Sane Box. That's it. Yeah. I started paying for this a couple years ago. I think there's a free tier. I'm pretty sure there is a free tier, but I quickly started paying for it. And my email life has gotten so much better. And I've even stopped training it. Like, I trained it for a couple days, I think, and I was as happy with everything I could.
$3,000 a year? Wow!
Listen, it's money well spent. It's not $3,000 a year.
No, I know it's $85 a year.
Copex.
Yeah, you're right. If you pay by yearly, it's that much. Yeah.
I remember you told me about this service, and I hated their names of snack, lunch, and dinner. It just made no sense to me. I'm like, this is stupid. I quickly abandoned.
Yeah, there's no free.
Not a sponsor of the show. I do want to put it out there. We're not trying to sneak a sponsorship in here on you guys or anything, but honestly, again, I despise emails, and my email had gotten out of control. Like, I couldn't keep track of like all the notifications coming in, and it does a couple things. Like the things I like that it. Yeah, I had to do some training on is that you can prioritize stuff. Say, okay, these are the type of emails I need to know about right away. Keep them in my inbox. And then these sort of emails, like notifications from GitHub or things like that, these are emails that I can get to later. So, put it in this other folder for later. And I want to see that how many emails are in that folder, but I know I don't have to look at them every day or right away. It's just done a lot for me. And of course, it handles, spams and things like that. It has a feature, I don't use it very frequently, but it even has a feature, something like if you send an email and it detects that you're expecting a reply to that email, but you don't get the reply, it'll notify you, say, hey, you sent this email 3 days ago, and we think you wanted a reply on it, but you haven't gotten a reply. Things like that.
Google does that.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Okay. What about expirations on stuff? Certain types of emails, like delivery notifications, I don't need them for ever. I need them for a day. Like there's, just,
I don't know all the features. It might have that. Like I said, it's been a while since I've actually logged into the interface and trained things again. I mean, it's literally been years since I've logged into the interface. So
my point is that email is garbage,
don't
and
remember.
I hate it.
I'm with you, brother. I'm totally with you on that. I agree with you. I'm not a fan of emails. So, but it's one of those ways of the world, man. We have no way around it right now.
Well, Google handled spam. I mean, they implemented all sorts of anti-spam rules for verified sender addresses and throttling limits for new emailing IPs, all sorts of cool stuff. But as far as the functionality of the protocol itself, there's nothing new. There's nothing good. And we end up with stuff like people using Slack for stuff it's not intended to be used for because email sucks. Or now you've got me.
If you're in our Discord channel, there's been some great suggestions as far as if you're using a Gmail interface for whether it's corporate or personal, there are some great selectors. And unfortunately, you have to go find them sometimes, but it turns out you can sort by the size of an email, or I've often used the date feature. So you can say before : and a date or after : a date to start finding emails within a date range. So there's obviously it's Google. Their searching is great. I just wish they had a better interface to find the emails you're looking for. The one I use often is has : attachment.
Yeah.
And one of the ones that John, our Discord John, suggested was doing a search by size, which I just did. And there are way more in there than I'm happy to admit. But yeah. Also,
well, you were saying,
John, again, it's not that I'm not interested in VS Code anymore. I actually need to get open VS Code back up to see if I broke it. I'm not a VS Code person.
Reiterate the question because we're on a audio podcast.
I just said, John asked if I'm not interested in VS Code anymore. I said that. And like I said, it's not that I'm not interested. I just I'm not a VS Code user. I have don't have an issue with it. I did spin it. I was talking about it a couple weeks ago because it had a NeoVim integration with it that I was playing with, and I liked, but not that much. not enough to abandon Vim and PHP. Like VS Code is third on my list. It's Vim, PHP, Storm, kind of neck and neck depending on what I'm doing. And then VS Code is right there if I ever, for some reason.
Two products that are not sponsors. We have SaneBox is not a sponsor, and VS Code is not a sponsor. Do you know who is a sponsor?
Who?
Honey Badger. Thanks, Honey Badger.
Thanks, Honey Badger.
I have to say, I've been listening to other podcasts, and I'm hearing Honey Badger creep up more and more. And every other podcast does such a better job than we do with their sponsorship.
I'm not surprised they're showing up in other podcasts. They showed up in ours. So,
to our defense, I reached out to them several times and got very specific direction from them on, what they wanted their spot to be. So this is what we're doing, and every week I feel bad about it.
But all they wanted was for you to pay for the service, which you've done.
I've done that too. Yeah. We're official Honey Badger users, including on PHP Roundtable, which I have to thank our PHP Ugly Discord, specifically Ralph in our PHP Ugly Discord, who helped me out. Because of Ralph, there is now a search box on PHP Roundtable that allows you to search for stuff in previous episodes And that is because of Ralph, because my understanding of how search worked was incorrect for so many years, but it never mattered. So typically, I was using search. I would use Algola, which is the search engine that is baked into Scout. Which it says it's baked into Scout, but you still have to do a composer require the Algola stuff. So I don't know why they say that. But in previous years, I've always done that. I've used Algola, and I've always done it like on a model, like whatever model I wanted to search on, show notes or whatever it is. And it worked as expected. I'm like, okay, this does what I wanted to do. With PHP Roundtable, I needed to do something a little different, which is I needed to include some relationships in the search. So I go through the Algola in the Laravel Scout documentation, and I figure it out, and I do it. And when I log into the Algola, am I saying that right? Algola.
Algola.
I wasn't going to correct you. I was going to make them. I was going to make them sponsor us to get it pronounced correctly.
Well, you might not do that because I abandoned them. I'll get to that in a second. When I logged into the Algolia website, I saw my relationship. Like I saw the record. I'm like, that's perfect. It has the episode information and the guest, which was the relationship. The guest associated to that episode are in the record. So perfect. But then when I was calling that record, I was only getting the record from the database. I'm like, shit. I'm like, is that what's supposed to happen?
Yeah, that's what happens.
For whatever reason in my head, I thought that I would get the record from Algolia.
No.
Like the data that I had in Algolia. So I was getting frustrated, and I was pinging people in the PHP Ugly Discord. As a result of that, I actually ended up switching over to Melee Search, which is the thing that there's a like when you spin up Sail, Melee Search is one of the options. It's just an open source search thing. So I actually ended up installing Melee Search, and it was super simple. And of course, I got the same behavior, right? Because, like you say, Tom, that is what you're supposed to happen. Supposed to happen, yeah. So but after spinning it up, I'm like, well, shit, that was pretty simple, because with Algolia, I had to put the little logo, like, hey, because I was going to stay on the free tier. I wasn't going to pay for it. You have to put the little logo.
Right.
So I'm like, shit, I have a Docker container. Let me just throw that on the server, and, it's just a search. It's just a search engine, so I don't need it to be exposed. I don't need to expose any ports to anybody, and it worked. It worked great, man. So that's what's actually powering the search on PHP Roundtable today is Algolia. And, I'm sorry, Melee Search.
I was going to say, I was very confused.
And story came full circle.
And Livewire, it's a little Livewire component. I have to put that out there. Livewire and Laravel Scout.
He spent a week upgrading Laravel just so he could use Livewire, but that's another story.
Yeah. He added a Livewire channel to the Discord server.
I did. It's actually more than just a channel. It's a feed from the Livewire Discord of their announcements. So you can have like these announcement channels that you can subscribe to from other channels. So
now, okay, I want to get into that just for a minute. I joined.
Thanks again, Ralph. Appreciate that.
I joined a guild for Destiny 2, and a lot of these Destiny 2 guilds have extraordinarily elaborate Discord servers. And it's just fascinating.
In what way?
So one of the things about Destiny 2 is that their API is very robust. And
just to be clear, Destiny 2 is a game. It's
a video game.
Right.
So you would kind of consider it a massive multiplayer game. It's not really in that same vein, but it is a large number of concurrent users spread out through multiple servers that cross servers when they cross interactions with each other. It's very transparently. So you won't go to a room and have everyone hanging out in the same room. It'll be just a tenth of what the total server load is for people. So it's not overwhelming, but it is a fascinating system. They've made so much stuff public that there's apps for your phone where you can control a significant portion of the game as like inventory management and character management on your phone without the game running. You can do all this character customization stuff through API calls. And so a lot of these Discord servers, they have whole systems for saying, here's the daily challenge changes, and here's the announcements from Destiny, and here's your current character's status. Do they qualify for the guild, or do they qualify? Does your character in the game qualify you to join this channel in Discord? It's very cool stuff.
You can suggest titles to our show in our Discord. Did you know that?
I've seen that. This is
thing.
more flexible than that. So one of the rules with this guild is that I have to spend a certain amount of time in voice channels, and they track each user. Are they participating in the voice channels and in group activities through these APIs? I was really blown away by what they can accomplish with this stuff. So yeah, I love.
Did you Did you hear that Discord is actually becoming the number one way malware is now being spread?
I did not hear
Not
that.
in PHP Ugly, but in general, possibly.
I should find that article.
Yeah, ours is special.
Yeah, ours is very well. I love our Discord. I absolutely love it. As a matter of fact, if you're in Discord and you like to play games, Sarah Goldman pops in there every now and then, and there's a group of I don't know if it's only PHP people. It used to be a lot of PHP people, but there's a group of PHP associates who do Among Us, and Sarah had popped in there last week, and I'm like, God damn, I've got to download that game. So I actually added it to my Steam. I still haven't launched it. I still don't know how to play it. But
I understand the game. I've watched enough of it. I don't know how to actually do the things you're supposed to do.
It's very big buttons on your screen. It's not hard to figure out, I promise.
Really?
Yeah, there's a giant button that says kill or press alarm.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's just at off times I want to join as well. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I would love to kind of get in there, but
we should have a Diego Dev Among Us game.
There's a gaming channel.
Apparently there's a PHP Ugly one, so we should we need to pop in there a few times just to kind of get our beaks wet, and then
there is a PHP Ugly Steam group that I created that I believe Kalen is the only person who is on it.
How do you join it? I didn't even know it existed.
Why don't we have an invite?
Search for groups. You go to
who searches for groups? Why would I do that?
I don't know what that means.
When I made it, I told everyone I made it, and you guys were like, "Nah, I don't games."
Obviously, we've had one person join it.
I will join it next time I launch Steam. I will definitely join it. So, is the Among Us? Can you do it with keyboard, or do you need a controller?
I think it's both. You can do it on your phone too. It's totally like every platform except Nintendo Switch, I think.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Maybe that's actually even a better way to do it. I got to do something fun. Doing something crazy. You were talking earlier, John, about like trying to figure out these problems, and like just like all of a sudden saying, this is it. This is it. I have. I've explained to you guys in the past how my development workflow, I use the Devilbox Docker configuration. So that allows me to run a bunch of sites, which work well for me as I bounce around to the different projects I work on. I like it. It's not perfect, but it does a lot. And the one client I'm working on is pushing to PHP 8. So the project I'm working on now is PHP 8, which is good for me because everything I'm working on now is PHP 8. So I configure Devilbox, to do PHP 8, and I'm working. But occasionally I get asked to address a problem in an older project. And that happened to me today. And I probably wasted like a good 30 minutes freaking out because like the entire site was broken for me. I'm like, this can't be like it can't be this bad. And I'm like trying to figure out the errors. I mean, like even the home page wouldn't load, and I'm freaking out. And then I remembered, oh yeah, this is a 7.2 or 7.4 application. I had to go into Devilbox, turn my PHP down, and everything worked fine. It was weird because I didn't think there was that big of a difference between, like, I didn't think 8 broke that much from 7, but there's something in there. There's something in there that code base does not like an 8. And once I turn that,
I want to see that. Maybe we jump on tomorrow. I'd love to see the errors that are happening.
Sure, I'd be happy to show you that. Yeah, and I'm wondering now that I say that, because the reason I figured it out was I just panicked and I just said, okay, I'm going to do a Composer install. Maybe I'm missing a package, and it wasn't until I did the Composer install that it started complaining about dependencies. It's like, hey, this package is dependent on 7.4 and your PHP 8 doesn't meet that, which, again, I don't understand that message, but it at least triggered the understanding of, oh shit, this isn't a PHP 8 application.
Yeah. One of the biggest reasons I'm curious is I was just talking today about needing to upgrade from 7.4 to 8 and just kind of want to see what you're seeing. I haven't tried this application in 8 yet, so I'm curious.
Well, Josh in Discord posted.
I'd love to show you.
Josh in Discord posted a link to all of the backwards compatible breaking changes.
Who did? Can you read that again?
John in Discord.
Sorry, John.
I did get to use.
There's a good number of stuff
that I did get to. For the first time, I used what's it called? Construction property promoter. I used that for the first time in code. I'm like, oh, that feels so good.
Is that the one where you don't have to initialize everything? It kind of does it for you,
right? In your constructor. Yeah,
that'll be so awesome. I can't wait to get to that.
Oh, dude, it was funny because I had typed it out and I was actually in PHP Storm when I did it, and I typed it out, and PHP Storm didn't recommend the PHP 8 way. I don't blame PHP Storm for that because it might still be set to 7.4 now that I think about it, because I just don't go in there and adjust that stuff. But I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute, isn't there a new way to do this in 8? And I had to go look it up and find it and do it, and it worked, and it was so cool. I'm like, oh, shit, that works. Yeah, I'm adding that to the Trello board.
I'm excited about it, but I'm also worried about it being magic, you know?
It doesn't really feel that way. I mean, because everything is like you're not like, all the syntax is there. It's just you're not doing it twice, basically, you know? So it doesn't feel so magic-y to me.
I've given up on worrying about magic because I was introducing an intern to Laravel today and started saying, well, I thought this was going to be a simple thing to explain, but let me explain why the lack of parentheses here resolves it to an instance of the method instead of a collection of builder. And then actually the factory for this isn't correct, so we have to go change the model factory so that it defaults values with Faker, and like, oh well, Faker's getting imported by default through the through the dependency injector. Well, the dependency injector is like, oh, okay, let me start over. You're going to work on a different project.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair point. There's already a lot of magic in a lot of the things we do, but when things aren't so obvious. But I think that's going to be one of those, as people use it more and more, I'm going to love it, because it's so annoying just seeing your constructor just full of initializing the variable that you're passing in. You're not doing anything fresh.
Right. Exactly.
Do you guys use short functions or arrow functions?
Yes.
I don't. And that was actually brought up today. And again, I keep referencing it. I apologize to the audio podcast listeners. If you're not in the PHP Ugly Discord at discord.phpugly.com, I can't help you, but we have great conversations in there. Somebody in Frank, actually, for the Diego Dev Group, posted a link to a generators over arrays article in the company Discord, company Slack. I'm like, crap, I'm putting that on Discord. And it started this whole conversation, and somebody had pointed out short function syntax in there.
Yeah, I started using it for MapReduce, and it's interesting.
We're talking about two different things now: generators versus short functions.
Yeah.
Right. So they can be used together, but I just want to make sure we're
Right.
being clear on
Yeah,
this.
they are.
Yeah,
different things.
I don't know why I went into that big spiel about generators. I love that article, by the way, but I
Yeah.
just did that because I saw the short function in there, and I'm like, I got to start using short functions. Like, these things are so awesome, and I don't use them.
They are.
Now, are you not worried about readability with short functions?
The whole point
No.
is they're short, so you know what, and they're used in place of a callable. So usually, you know, a callable is being passed into something, and you have to write function. You're passing in your variables, and then doing something on it. But when it's a single line, it's just taking up more space. So the short syntax is just nicer for something like that.
Yeah. So, like I said, I was doing map reduce with Laravel collections, and that was a really nice place for it because most of my maps were very, very simple. You know, just move the variable over, continue on, and because it needed some logic in it, it needed to be a callable, but it didn't need to be a whole function with a return statement. It just needed to say x plus z, the end. So it lets you put some quick logic in place, and it wasn't very readable to me when I wasn't used to it. I would see it, and it would just sort of, my head would explode. But once you get
used to it,
once you get used to the syntax of it, it's very simple.
You bring up another thing that
I was going to say the example you pointed out in the pulling from a database. I think that was what it was, or it was an example I shared. If you put a long string of arrow functions together, it becomes unreadable. Or if you're chaining a bunch of methods together and then you have a short function within there, it's unreadable. But
it's like
ternaries.
More readable. You can use ternaries wrong and it looks ugly and horrible and barely works. But when you use them right in the right place, it's just fits right in like a Lego brick.
Yeah. Map is another thing I don't use, and I always feel like I'm missing out. Like, I can never think of the use case when I'm coding. Now, when I go back and look at map again, I'm like, oh yeah, I could have replaced some code somewhere with that. But
usually, if you're for eaching, you can map it.
Right. It never pops in my head when I'm actually doing the thing, like the for each. I never think about map.
I didn't realize collections have map and reduce functionality built into them, and they're chainable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
So you can't chain off of reduce because reduce produces a single output. Except that it turns out you can chain off of reduce if you make the default value a collection and use the collection to do the math that you're trying to execute. So you actually can chain a reduce call as long as that reduce
if you reduce a collection,
to a collection.
Reduce to a collection. Yeah.
Right. It's like I'm doing some very cool stuff in like 2 lines that I'm not accustomed to doing because I know I didn't have to do reports and stuff like that very much before. I had to get models and render them, and that was about it. And so getting this map reduce stuff together and getting reports built with it is very interesting.
Everything coming down to like I can reduce it to 1 or 2 lines is great as long as you are doing a good job of segmenting your code, if you're doing a good job of naming your method so you know, oh, that's what this is supposed to do, and it's not 500 lines long, and then all of a sudden, right in the middle of that 500 lines, you have this optimized piece of code that's a pain in the ass to figure out. But if you're doing a good job of separating it, then it makes more sense.
Yeah, and I sort of had an interesting realization because the MapReduce stuff that I'm working on, I got from a coworker of mine who is a PHP developer. And technically, I'm the senior developer, and I feel like I should be the best coder in the office. And he's so much better than me at so much of this stuff. And that was bothering me. And then I was like, well, but that's not what my job is. Senior PHP developer isn't necessarily the best coder. They just have the most experience with things that come up. Do you know what I mean?
I feel that way.
I will tell myself
every day.
I tell myself
every day.
every day.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I know in our company, I know I'm not even in the top like 8, and we only have like 7 employees. It's bad. but that's why we pay them money. They need to be better than I am. So.
Well, so much of what I do is not necessarily code anymore. It's a lot of logical, it's a lot of structure and architecture stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's where I struggle is the architecture. I constantly in my PR reviews I get people saying, "Oh, you could break this out into a separate class. And it's like, but where is that line? It's like, and then the naming,
solid
I hate
and dry.
naming. I know, but the naming is it's so hard, and then it makes me not want to do it because I don't want to name it, and it's just like I can just put a conditional in here and do what I want to do, and I'm done. Just leave me alone.
And that's one of the things about contributing to open source that can be really rough. That's
why I code in production.
Contributing to open source stuff, you can get criticized pretty bad. Also, don't write to production. Oh.
Eric, you share. I want to go back to the generator since you shared it. It's now in Discord. Do you want to?
I just put it in. I mean, we were talking about it in Discord earlier. The whole using generators instead of arrays. I had never even knew about this process. I'm trying to find the link again.
You did in the sense where I first heard about it was Wave PHP.
Oh, really?
Man. Yeah.
Who?
Jeremy Limbaum?
Jeremy, of course. I was actually just in Arizona PHP meetup this week. That's the one Jeremy's one of the organizers.
Yeah, the presentation he gave at Wave PHP just blew my mind on generators. And the big piece that obviously the memory management, but making API calls using generators is amazing. And I still remember it from his talk, but I haven't gotten into refactor any of my API calls to other services to use them yet. And it's pissing me off because I know I need to do this. But basically, you're yielding the results of a page of an API call. So you say, I want the first 10 results from this API call, give them back. And because it's a generator, you can yield page 2 and page 3.
Freaking great idea.
I know, and that was in his presentation, and that's why I love conferences. You learn shit even if you don't use it, and I know I need to go back and do this, and it's pissing me off that I haven't done it yet.
I'm with you. I got to do it. I got to do it as well.
I don't disagree, but I mean, I've always liked generators. And for those that don't know, a generator is just an iterable structure in PHP that yields a value out of it as it iterates instead
multiple values.
Yes,
it can yield multiple values.
It yields a result
thing.
of something.
Yeah, so the stuff that's been yielded is dropped from memory, and the stuff that hasn't is waiting in a sort of memory safe area. So it's a memory saving technique for a lot of stuff in PHP, but it's always so obnoxious to implement.
Why is not?
It just
Why
just
do you say
is
that?
Because it's so easy to just create an array. Now,
I use them all the time in my test. I just don't use them in my code enough.
I know Laravel does a lot of generators behind the scenes transparently.
Makes
so
sense.
a lot of the eloquent stuff I believe uses generators. You just don't realize it. I mean, actually, I'm going to see.
I mean,
go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I was going to say, and you're right. I mean, an array isn't difficult to create if you know your values.
But
if you don't,
it's memory intensive. That's the big thing.
Yeah, I agree.
If you can pull a subset of data on each request, then you're going to save that memory footprint.
Yep.
I mean, it's not all just about memory, but it's.
I need to start using this. I need to get comfortable with using this so that I'm using it more. I like this a lot. I definitely need to come back to that. Oh, and side note, I said I joined Arizona PHP meetup earlier this week. One of our PHP Ugly an Uggo, who is a member of Arizona PHP and is in our Discord, actually gave the presentation. He's Architect 99 in our Discord. So it gave a great presentation. I slept through most of it, so I can't really tell you what it was about. But I heard it was good. Like, people started clapping. It woke me up. I'm like, yeah, good job.
All right, I'm sharing Jeremy's slide deck. It was iterators and decorators and generators. Oh my!
I was at that one. I was.
It was a fantastic presentation. I wish we recorded it.
Mm-hmm. When are we? Or when are you? Because I am overcommitted. When are you, John, getting SDPHP going again? I see you got the sign behind you. So you got to think about it.
I think about it all the time, but now there's this new goddamn Delta variant crap building up. So it's like, I don't know. The hard part is
but there's no one we can blame for that specifically.
Yeah,
getting a company to say, yes, you can come use my space is hard. Getting people that are ready to venture out. I mean, I think most people are ready to get out, but actually going out is hard. I don't know. I don't know what the right time is. Like a week ago, I would have said, yeah, I'm ready. But then you start getting all the new reports of, no, it's not. We're not ready yet.
I'm the same way. I like a week or two ago, I'm like, we've got it. We've got to get SDPHP going again. Like, I am so jazzed. I'm so ready to do it again. And then, like I go out to a couple of events. I'm like, wait, too many people. Everybody stop breathing for a minute. Just stop breathing. I need to walk through here.
Don't worry.
Frank in Discord asked about SDPHP Online. If you read the latest PHP architect, Beth Tucker-Long talks about this perfectly in that as organizers, we've thought about this, especially at the beginning of the pandemic. And people are they are overcommitted to online meetings. They're burnt out from it. There are so many other groups doing great online presentations that I don't know that.
PHP.
Yeah, there were a few meetup groups on the East Coast that all got together to do theirs. That us doing our own doesn't make sense in this type of scenario. To me, the meetups are more about the personal interaction, the networking, the getting with people in your geographical area. I don't know that we need to do an online thing.
Yeah, I've been doing a couple. Arizona PHP I go to frequently. Nashville I'll pop into, basically to Torture Bin on that one. There's been a couple I popped onto now and then.
Well, yeah. And Nomad has typically dominated that market.
They were doing it before the pandemic even started. They were like, there's so many introverts that don't want to meet in person. Let's start this up.
Well,
I don't think that was the reason they gave.
It was not everybody has a user group local to them. Let's create one for them. I think was more of the marketing spiel. But
you know who's bad with people?
I don't know.
Us.
Well, I got one for you, Tom. I know I got bit by this actually. And it absolutely freaked me the fuck out when it happened. You're always complaining about the frequent releases of Laravel, and the supposed constant breaking changes they put in, and I'm like, I don't see that. Yeah. Did you know Symphony did that this week, or was it this week or last week? I think it was this week. Yeah, it was this week because I got hit. Symphony. A tweet went out. Unfortunately, the type hints added in this release caused an issue with Laravel and PHP debug bar. Should be fixed now by updating to the latest version. So a change that the Symfony package made broke Laravel sites, and again, I got dinged with this. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, why did everything just break? And fortunately, the fix came out pretty quick.
What you're saying is that
Laravel
didn't properly handle its dependencies, and Fabien Potencier went out of his way to fix it for them.
Is that how you interpret it?
That's great.
Is that how you interpret that?
Hey, it's really easy from the sidelines being a framework maintainer, okay?
We use debug bar to a point, but there are so many instances where I have to go and turn it off.
Yeah. Well, why? Why would you have to turn it off?
So much crap. Like legacy application. No, legacy application. So basically any AJAX request fails because of the amount of data being passed back.
Because of the debug bar.
All the headers that are included because of the warnings.
What about Telescope?
Pointless. I don't know what that is, so can't tell you.
Laravel Telescope. So I've looked into this because we're running everything as an API call, so debug bar naturally isn't the right fit for us. But Laravel Telescope is a sort of a second-party app that you install into your project that gives you an endpoint that lets you inspect all of the things that are happening with each call. But
really,
it's a secondary tool. So you have a browser window open with Telescope, and you make all your API calls in Postman, and Telescope updates with all those calls.
But isn't Telescope only Laravel, though?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, John wouldn't have known of that.
Yeah, it doesn't help me at all.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom, for caring about me.
I'm sure there are similar projects out there for other stuff.
Speaking of similar projects, again, big shout out to the PHP Ugly Discord. I was trolling Taylor a little bit, and I'm happy he didn't get mad at me because I wasn't trying to be a dick. But I was trolling a little bit, asking where the Laravel Livewire version of Nova was, and immediately I got a bunch of tweets and people in Discord, and actually people in Discord before I even tweeted that had turned me on to Filament, which is a Laravel admin interface built on the Tall stack, which is Tailwind and Livewire. And so before the show today, I started converting PHP Roundtable over to Filament. I've only literally just started the one resource, so I'm just understanding how to do things and how they're different. So I don't really have a lot of feedback.
I like how you've tried to crowbar PHP Roundtable in as many places as you can in this entire podcast.
Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous.
Okay, crowbar was a little strong. It was all the testing you've done, all the new things you're working on is PHP Roundtable.
Livewire, them, and PHP Roundtable. Those are the three things I have to mention every show.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I was coding in Vim, the new PHP Roundtable site, using this new Filament package, which is Livewire in the back end. Life is awesome. I love my life right now.
I'm happy you love your life. I love your life too, even though you avoid me. What? Move on.
I don't avoid you.
You know who we don't avoid?
I do avoid you, don't I? You came to my house. I literally didn't answer the door.
I'm sitting there banging on his door. Eric, come out and see me.
Nobody talk. He'll go away, I'm pretty sure.
I'm looking in his window. Why are you not coming out here?
Our
so
Patreons.
Thank you, Patreons. Thank you, Patreons. Thank you, Honey Badger, for the sponsorship. I came out and I looked on my phone, and you sent a message. I'm outside.
Nothing. Back up. I sent you a message via Slack saying, "Hey, are you home? I'm going to be there in a couple minutes," or however I said it. I see you going from offline to online as soon as I send the message. No response. I show up.
That's what you claim. You claim that.
Knock on your door. Eric, I'm here. Can you come say hi? Nope. I text you. I'm here. I look on Life 360. He's at home, but he's not answering me. I'm like, okay, I got the message.
Listen, I sat down at my desk and I looked at my phone and I see a Slack message from you. Like, I forget what you said. You see something like "I'm outside" or something like that. And we've had this happen before. I almost responded, "Hey, idiot, you're talking to me again."
We've had this back and forth. I thought I was talking to my wife. Eric's responding, and I still think I'm talking to my wife, and I'm...
I was aroused.
It was
a good night for me. Oh, it was, yeah. I was.
Those pictures should have been deleted, I hope, at this point.
That's why you use Snapchat.
But he says something, and I left a package by your motorcycle. I'm like, what? And I look out my window, and I'm like, there's a little package there. And what was in that package, John?
A credit card.
Well, yeah, that too. Thank you very much. But no, the new PHP Ugly stickers.
Oh.
And you guys have John to thank. He says, hey, I have the packages ready to go out to the Patreons. Who's scrolling right? How come I say Patreon and then you go away from the scene?
Timing is everything.
What the hell is wrong with you? He says, hey, I have these packages ready to go out for the Patreon members. Am I waiting for PHP Roundtable stickers? That was John that said that. And I'm like, John, that's a great idea. Let me order some Roundtable stickers. So it's my fault you're not getting your packages sooner, but you're getting more stickers. And you have John.
You're muted, Tom.
I don't think anyone's complaining about that.
Don't tell him that.
I think the fact that they're getting a actually valuable sticker in their package is going to make them quite happy.
That's true, right?
Right.
Check these out. Where'd they go? I just had them. I had them right here. So I was messing around, and I did order a version of this for PHP Roundtable as well. I was messing around. I'm like, what do these stickers look like? I ordered little 1x1 stickers. And when John delivered them, I looked at them like, these suck. I'm like, these are horrible. They're like little pogs. You know, remember pogs? Yeah. And then, like, the more I looked at them, I'm like, no, these actually look pretty awesome. Like, I kind of like. I started putting them on my my little headphones and things like that. I'm putting these things everywhere now. And my kid walks in, and she goes, "Hey, those are cool. Can I have a few?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she's putting them on her stuff. So we have these little baby PHP Ugly stickers, and then there's going to be PHP Roundtables as well this size. So they're pretty cool.
You know,
what about PHP
one of my
Ugly?
Kids.
Oh, that one was PHP
These are the
anyway.
These are PHP Ugly stickers.
I was thinking Diego Dev for us, not.
One of my kids asked for a PHP Ugly sticker. And
That's a good idea.
And I just looked at him and said, "Why?
Why? Because they're cool, man. They're cool.
Your kid wants to support you. That's a good thing.
That is very nice. It's been a real weird week with the kids. One of them got their GED and is now going to cosmetology school. And
wow.
Yeah, that's a big move this week. And today, my oldest got his license.
Oh, God.
So
there's nothing more stressful.
Yes. Almost got in a car accident on the way home from his driver's test.
Already?
The car accidents while you're in the car aren't even that bad. It's when you're not in the car and it's like it's taking way too long for them to get to the school. Or you're worse, they pull off, you're sitting at your house, and then you hear sirens going. It's like, oh, God, please, no. Oh, I hate...
But the response time, excellent.
I mean, both my kids have had their licenses for years now, and I still get nervous. Like when I think they should have been home and they're not, or I hear sirens, or
I've got a funny siren story for you later, off the air.
Later.
Remind me to tell you that one.
You do. Michael Dorinda posted a link in our Discord. John, I think this is probably for you, maybe? Clockwork?
Yep. I've already clicked on it. I'll check it out later.
Okay.
Yeah. So Clockwork
I think it's similar to Telescope.
It's going to have the same problem because Clockwork still sends a concurrent request.
What do you mean?
Clockwork is still, if you're having too much AJAX in a single call, Clockwork is going to do the same thing, I believe.
So the main issue is, especially from Twilio. So Twilio makes a call in and gets back a crap ton of headers for the debug bar, and the headers are too big. I'm in agreement.
Yeah, no, debug bar has disable for endpoints functionality. It's like you can have specific endpoints that it's just disabled for.
I'll have to look at that more because I think right now it's either on or off.
Well, I know there's,
but it also happens within AJAX calls. Like the headers are just too big to be handled. On a standard HTML page, it's fine, but once you start getting into AJAX, it's a pain in the ass.
That's what she said.
Hey, we need to wrap up. We're running pretty lengthy here, but I do want to throw one more thing out there, just because I want to let everybody know that we're aware of it. We just haven't gotten time to talk about. Once a week, somebody will post, "Hey, did you see Microsoft release their own version of Linux?" Yes. Both Tom and I had it on our Trello board for the last 3-4 weeks, and we just haven't gotten around to talking about it. So thanks for the notification. It's definitely on our radar. I just archived my card because I'm just not going to talk about it anytime soon. But yeah, we are aware that Microsoft has.
I'll get it all out there right now. The reason we don't really care is because anyone can take. No, anyone can take the Linux kernel and compile their own version of it and release it and call it theirs. Microsoft is doing this because they want something that they can support on their Azure network, which is already majority Linux, so that they don't have to worry about instability from other Linux distributions. So it is not Microsoft Linux. It is just a cover your ass situation for them. And it's not like it's doing anything special like Valve's version of Linux, which has Proton, or Pop! OS, which has support for Proton and Wine built in. It's not special. It's just their version for their Linux servers, which they run a lot of because everyone wants Linux servers. They don't want Windows servers. Now, the thing I'm waiting for...
That was easy.
Yeah. The thing I'm waiting for is Windows on a Linux kernel. And that is going to be Windows 12, I promise.
Mark that.
I've already said plenty of reasons why I think it's going to be Windows 12 and not Windows 11, but I have.
I started transcribing our shows. The service I use to clean up our podcast, it allows me to tie into a Google service that does transcription. It doesn't do a fantastic job, but it's there. At some point, I'm going to start. I've only started recently doing it like the last 3 or 4 shows. At some point, I'm going to start pulling all this stuff into a database so it's all searchable.
Well, we played with...
It'll be searched through Melee Search and Livewire.
It's funny you say that.
The Video Ninja automatic transcription, and it worked really well.
Android has it built in as well. I mean, it's pretty good. But I'm watching TV the other night with my wife, and I turn on closed captioning because we listen to shows where I don't fully understand what they're saying, and it's like I'd rather just read it, or my hearing's not that great. Whatever the case is, whatever. Somebody says, because it's so important, and I read the transcription, and it's so porn.
Yeah.
And I had just happened to just turn it on and just saw that, and I paused it, and I looked at her and just laughed. I'm like, and usually when we're watching TV together, she's like looking at her phone, scrolling Instagram or whatever. So when I look at her, she looks up and she's like, what? So then I am trying to explain why it says this on the TV, and then she laughed. Sorry, I thought it was funny.
Oh, that's
very funny.
That's all right. Now I want to.
I never noticed that.
I just turned it on. That's really the only reason.
I want to let you guys know that even though we haven't covered Doom and Gloom in its truly valuable state that it needs to be covered, the Doom and Gloom channel in Discord is still quite active. So if you're ever feeling too good about yourself, just hop in there. At least once a day, there's something terrible happening. For example, Jeff Bezos went to space in a giant penis. That was weird and a giant waste of money.
Discord is my favorite, man. I have fallen in love with our Discord group. I really have. I mean, I get help for work through there. I mean, it's just
things that I have an immediate answer for. He will go there for an hour-long discussion instead.
Well, you're not in our Slack anymore, so I don't have to talk to you.
Yeah, I noticed that. I did get booted
Is he really
Slack.
Not? Really? I didn't know that.
I booted him and I forgot to put him back.
Oh, I figured I got booted for some financial reason. I'm just not in any of the channels except for PHP Ugly now.
No, you got booted because you pissed me off. You're lucky you're in PHP Ugly. That's only because I didn't feel like going to Discord to message our in-show stuff.
Oh, that's from the muting days.
From the quiet incident is what I call it. The day we were silenced. I like to flex who has the real power.
I thought it was a week after that. Who knows?
No. It was that night. I can guarantee you.
I don't see the Jeff Bezos story in here. What are you talking about?
That night,
the story that everybody covered at infinite length. That Jeff Bezos went to space in it. You don't.
Well, I knew it was space. I didn't see any of that part.
The penis rocket?
Yeah, I didn't see it. I don't see it in here now.
I will dare you now. Go into Google and type Jeff Bezos penis.
No,
it will give you. It will only return pictures of his. Okay, I'm wrong. Most of the results will just be the shit. This
surprises you somehow?
It's weird when Google cross-references your previous searches.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Okay, so I guess don't type that.
and he's surprised. That's what kills me.
Okay. Jeff Bezos penis
He's
rocket.
like, okay, I got a new gun. I'm going to search bang my neighbor. Well, I didn't expect these results.
Okay,
That's amazing.
I know better than that.
They literally have penis in the search, and you're surprised. Okay.
Well, no, it's Yahoo's.
You're a special kind of pretty.
Yahoo Entertainment wrote an article that's titled "Jeff Bezos' penis-shaped rocket launches Dr. Evil comparisons," because it does, because it looks the same.
I'm in your doom and gloom channel. I don't see any of what you're talking about.
Well, no, that part wasn't doom and gloom.
You said it was doing. You were talking about doom and gloom.
Conversations. How are you still on the show?
I was saying that was an example of.
You brought up doom and gloom, and you said you talked about it in there, so I went in there to look for it, and I don't see it.
It's in general Discord now, Tim.
I am so confused.
All right. So nobody else suggests a title for this show because, we have so many.
What?
Nobody
It's not going to be Jeff Bezos' penis?
Space race, cock space race. And just have like a rooster and an astronaut suit.
And a little band hammer.
There you go. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. It's late. This is why we record late.
Just look at that picture.
We will have higher standards on PHP Roundtable.
John, prefix that with bang title. Bang title.
Bing.
I got it. I got you there, John. Don't worry about it.
Hey, John, Google bang title. See what comes up.
Now I have to.
Now the Google bang title.
Let's go images.
Oh my goodness. All right,
that's it.
We're
done. We have spoken for way too long, and I need to wrap up.
I can't believe people are still listening to us.
That's it. Episode 247 is in the can. I'm Eric.
I'm John.
I'm Tom. Keep it ugly.
Keep it ugly.
1, 2, 1, 2, coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it, my words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it, you know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly, we ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Yeah, come on.